Hold on. I forgot the microphone. So I'm using the computer's microphone right now, but I want this better one. Okay. Hopefully this works on the fly. I don't have to restart the live stream. Right? Hopefully this works. It's really bright outside. The sun just came out, so I'm probably in shadow right now. All right. Yeah, the sun. It's been snowing. It was dark a second ago. All right, so it's not 2 o'clock yet, so it's not too bad. I think this will work. Yes. Yeah, I can see the volume, but it's got a green light instead of a blue light. So I don't know what that means. Hey, David. Hey, Richard. Let me know if this microphone is working okay, because it should be louder here and softer when I put it at a distance. Big Blue is here. I'm doing good. How are you? Loud and clear. Okay. Yeah. It's just the technical stuff is what bugs me. Works perfect. Awesome. See, it's usually got a blue light, but now it's got a green light. I don't know what that means. Weird. Anyway. So let's see. Richard's here. Richard McIntyre. All right. So we've got an hour or two. Usually I go for an hour on the channel news, but I can go up to 2 hours. I've cleared my schedule. Yeah. I wrote some notes for today. In the thumbnail of the video, I've got this blade. This has been sold in the previous auction, but I dinged the tip slightly. Yeah, it was purchased by Ed. There's a slight ding on the tip. Let's see. I got to nap that out. I mean, it's still thin, but the very tip got dinged as I was packaging the other items. Good here, hot weather. Well, it's not hot here. I don't know if you can see. Lots of snow, and kids are getting out of school. Well, they shouldn't be this early. But yeah, we got like 4 inches or so. Oh yeah, drink water. I gotta have that gallon next to me, because if I have like a little glass, I'll only drink a sip off the glass. But if I got the gallon, I'll take like 3 or 4 gulps, and that'll be better. Okay. So I don't expect as many people on the chat for the channel news as I do on the live chat on the Friday night live stream. So it's okay. Hello, everybody. Mike Tufts is here. What time is it? Yeah, I started this a little bit early, just in case. And it was good because I didn't have the microphone plugged in. All right. And if this microphone fails, the computer's microphone should pick up. Okay. That's the main thing that I'm worried about when I do the live streams is just the technical stuff, the equipment. Sal is here. Can't get rid of you that easy. No. I don't need my glasses to read, but it makes it easier. I'll just take them off. Okay. So I need to read off my notes. What is the notes? What's on the agenda for the notes? In general, I try to talk smack about ideas, not people. Okay. My name is Patrick, The channel name is Jack Crafty. I've been doing this since 2011. You can look to see my first video was like in the beginning, May of 2011. I've got over 2,000 videos. If you want to check to see if I've talked about something, you just do a search, Jack Crafty, blah, 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 a search on YouTube. Okay. And it should pop up, whatever, if I've covered. Now, I just had a question on heat treatment. And let's see, is Brendan here? Anyway, he had a question on the heat treatment and how to do the turkey roaster setup. And he was looking at a video that's 9 years old. I need to delete that video because it's outdated. Brian's here. James Toth. Stidley Designs. Stidley, is that how you pronounce it? Rev Nighthawk. Mike Dubs. There goes the neighborhood. Sal's here. Yes. All the usual first posting characters are here. Yeah. Michael's here. Red-eyed Patriots here. Okay. We got the usual gang, though, so we can start. No problem. All right. So usually I don't do a lot of live streams, but I'm starting to like it, right? Usually I didn't plan to do a lot of live streams, but I'm starting to like it. So I'll be doing more. I've got 2 scheduled during the week. Wednesday at 2 p.m. and Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Okay. I have auctions every Monday, but those are not live. I just post the auction at 4 p.m. Eastern time. It's a video with all the items. You have 5 hours to bid on the items, and I close the auction at 9 p.m. the same day at night, Eastern time. And then I declare the winners, and then we arrange payment and the delivery by email. Okay, so if you're new and if you want to get into an auction, just remember you need to email me if you win, because I don't have a way to notify you other than in the comment section. Okay. Got to get that community tab going, dude. Yeah. Hey, there's Brendan. Yeah, I wanted to answer your question about the heat treatment. I'm going to try to do a whole new video series on the heat treatment stuff. But basically, when you heat treat, you want to, if you're not sure of the material, start with a low heat for a couple hours and then shut off the turkey roaster and then try to nap it. If it doesn't seem easier, you put it back in, turn it up to a higher heat. These are just basic rules. Bring the heat back down, try napping it again. It's a slow process if you're new to the material. All right, so just you can type in Jack Crafty heat treat and it'll come up with a couple of videos. One is 9 years old, one is 1 year old. Like the first 2 that pop up in most searches. Sometimes not all searches work the same, and you'll get an idea of how to do the heat treat. But I'm going to do another series to answer lots of other questions. One of the questions I get on heat treatment is, I see charts. Other people put up charts on heat treatment of different stuff, and it, like 500 degrees, 700 degrees, 800 degrees. Like for Novaculite, you can heat it at 800 degrees. Where do I do that? Well, you can't do it with a turkey roaster, and not all those values work for everybody. Some people can get away with a lower temperature. Some people have to go higher. So whatever you see as a chart online is just a basic guide. I would suggest starting at a lower heat, and it doesn't matter how many times you raise and lower the heat on a rock. It won't do anything bad to the rock. Okay, unless you heat it too high or cool it too fast. You can add sand into the turkey roaster to retain heat like a Turkish. Yeah, that's mainly on the cool downs. It takes longer to heat up if you've got sand in it. So let's say I say turn the heat to a certain temperature and wait 30 minutes and then turn it up again and wait 30 minutes. It may take longer than 30 minutes for that sand in there to heat up. So you may have to ramp it up once every hour instead of once every 30 minutes. See, I don't ever use any sand or dirt or kitty litter or whatever other people use in the roaster. because it heats up faster if I don't. And also, there's less fuss. And people that I know that heat rock that use kilns, they never put sand in the kiln. So I said, why not? Well, the air circulates around pretty quick, and you don't need a buffer. They use the sand as a what they call a buffer, and that means it heats up and cools down more slowly. That's what the buffer is for. Um, Thanks, working on my lid now. Making the lid fit better without the liner. We can experiment. Yeah, just you can go crazy with the aluminum foil. I think on the next turkey roaster that I set up, I'm just going to crinkle up aluminum foil instead of fiberglass insulation, and just use 2 layers of aluminum foil to wrap around the lid. I think I'm going to go crazy with the aluminum foil because for some reason, one time only, I guess the rocks contain so much moisture when I heated it up that the fiberglass insulation in the lid absorbed all that moisture. And when I took the lid off the next day, the lid weighed like 2 pounds. So it was full of condensation, water that had evaporated out of the rocks. I mean, it was heavy. So I think if I put aluminum foil in the lid, it'll just kind of dissipate out from the lid. It won't stay in there like what happened with the fiberglass insulation. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but it just was kind of weird. And if when you heat it up again, maybe the water from the fiberglass insulation will come back down and try to recirculate in and maybe mess up the temperature. I don't know. Let's see what we got here. Got to know someone with a killing experience. Yeah, that's the easy way. But hardly anybody has the easy way. There's also a question of stacking. You can stack one turkey roaster on top of the other. Like you have one that's a regular turkey roaster setup. Then you can take another turkey roaster and flip it over upside down and stick it on top of the other one as another turkey roaster as a lid, so to speak. And that'll increase the temperature. I've heard that it can increase it up to 600 degrees that way, but that's risking exceeding the heat tolerance of the appliance itself. Let's see. We'll be 70 degrees in a week here at the outlet of the Grand Canyon. Yay, sunlight and warmth. Yeah, the sun keeps going in and out. See, I got sunlight on me now. I don't know. I've got a light directly on me as well, a shop light. And there's still a big shadow. I've got the windows open over there. I don't want to close this up because it makes me feel claustrophobic. It is snowing again. I don't know. It's been snowing while the sun is out here. Let's see. Let's start reading these. Let's see. Yeah, less fuss method will be tried by me. Yeah. But it's showing all day here. Snowing all day. Oh, Bushy, yeah, you've got snow. He tells me he's got snow all the time there where he's in New York. Yeah. But you got lake effect snow. It's not fair. Jim Cooper, I get away with lower temp heat treats in my wood stove by sticking spalls and preforms into the ash at the bottom. Wow, that's a good deal. There's this thing where here in Vermont, I want to install a wood stove here in this house, but the new building codes and the bylaws, the town bylaws are very strict now on wood stoves. It's almost impossible to get one installed and pass code. They don't like them anymore. Blades and points. Okay, Sal, I had to use aluminum foil on mine to seal it. It works great. Cool. I found a 25 quart air fryer that has a bake temperature of 450. That works well. Yeah, I haven't tried an air fryer. If it works for you, that'd be awesome. Let's see. I found a 25 quart. Okay. My grandmother gave me her kiln, but I've got to install new outlet and breaker for it. She used it to do ceramics with it. Yeah. That's what they're usually used for. And for glass, just making a double layer of foil with a steel crinkles, with sheet crinkles up a bit between them. Then I have a large fire retardant canvas lay on it. Yep, that's good. Jesse, oh, stacked roasters. We're in trouble now. Lots of rock can fit in a mega roaster. That's true, but be careful because you're exceeding the heat limit of the appliance. Always use a temperature gauge. That's what I recommend now. You buy those temperature gauges for barbecue grills. They've got a 3/8 inch screw. You can use a 3/8 inch drill bit to drill at the top of the turkey roaster lip. Just get it in just below the lip of the turkey roaster so it pokes through. 3/8 inch drill, and you can just screw it in. You don't need to tap it, And then keep an eye on the temperature that way for all the turkey roasters. It changes when you insulate the lid. It changes from what the dial says. So the dial, you can dial it to 300, but inside the turkey roaster, it's going to be hotter by 50 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, hotter than what it says on the dial. So got to be careful with that. It's really curious about the air. Yeah. I haven't tried it with the air fryers either. It might be a better idea to use an air fryer. But I'm afraid of the air circulation. Maybe it's too intense. You'll need a wood stove that draws in air from underneath. Insurance approved for mobile homes. Buck style stove. Yeah, I was looking at some cook stoves. They sell cook stoves at various places. I was looking at Menards, and they have some really good options, especially smaller cook stoves. But the codes here where I live require a separate air intake just for outside air. And then you need an exhaust. So you need a complete circulation of air. You can't draw air from inside the room, in other words. They'll grandfather in all the old stuff, but the new stuff needs a dedicated outside air vent for anything that you burn inside, any kind of gas or wood or coal fired thing. Ever tried chewing on black birch twigs or smoking the bark? It's very good. Minty flavor, taste. I've tried birch leaves and birch bark, but it didn't have a minty flavor. It wasn't bad, but it had kind of a bitter flavor. It doesn't have a minty menthol taste, the one that I've tried. It has when it's fresh and not smoky, it smells like sassafras. But other than that, I didn't like it that much. Black birch? We've got silver birch and white birch. I don't know about black birch. Thanks for the great videos. I started napping after watching your videos 6 months or so ago. I can't believe how this has taken over my thoughts and napping every day. I'm in Michigan. Cool. Ross. Wood stove is best addition to my grandfather did to his house. Yeah, I need to try heat treating rocks here. So tough. 37-year-old hand injury came back. Yeah, heat treating will change the whole ball game if you've got tough rocks. All right, let's see. Yeah, that doesn't help at all. Let's see. With cracks in your building, you have no problem with air. Yeah, I know, but they'll come around. They need to inspect any installation of these wood stoves or fireplaces or gas stoves, anything like that. They'll inspect. And if you don't have a dedicated vent system for outside air, they won't approve it. Even if you got like an open front door, nope, need dedicated vent. Guys, don't forget this channel offers memberships. Yes, don't forget. Let's support Patrick so he can buy supplies and new exotic rocks to nap. I know his vids have cut the learning curve in half for me. Okay, see? Cool, thanks. I'm, I'm glad they're useful. Yeah. Yeah, if I had seen indirect percussion sooner, I would have napped quicker also myself. I did see indirect percussion when I first started watching videos, but uh it was mainly using a big thick antler. It wasn't a antler with a pointy tip. It's only very specifically black birch that has it. The other species of birch doesn't have it, and I know it grows in New England because that's where my uncle showed me about its qualities. Yeah, I'll look for some black birch and see what I can come up with. We've got it here, no doubt, but I haven't seen it yet. If I do that, see, even when it's right on my face, it doesn't light up anything. Bugs me. I need a lighting guy. It's only very specifically black birch. Okay. Welcome to the club, Ross. Yeah, he's a member. It looked like he's got a star next to his name. Anyone interested in becoming a channel member? Yeah. Let's see. Betula sweet birch, also known as black birch, cherry birch, mahogany birch, or spice birch, pieces of birch native to Eastern. Yeah. I will look for it. Let's see. Yes, we do. Lots of lake effect. I fleshed 10 backstrap sinews today. Need them for my knives. 10 backstraps. Wow. Yeah, that's plenty of sinew. No rocks to nab here. Planning a trip to Texas this spring to look for rocks. Well, if you're looking for rocks in public areas, you won't have much luck because they've already been stripped clean. Okay, just fair warning. Every napper and his brother, uncle, sister, and in laws have visited Texas in the past 10 years and stripped everything that's public. Okay, just as a warning. The only thing that you'll find is rocks at landscape supply yards, and they call it bull gravel. Okay. You can go to a Knapping in Texas and find plenty of rocks for sale. But as far as public areas, unless you're in very out of the way spots that take you forever to get to, that you won't be able to pick it up just off the side of the road. I've got a friend, or more than one friend, uh, in the western half of Texas that knows these spots that are rural that have dirt roads that cut through Flint and Chert areas. So we can pick up small chunks there, but I'm just going to give you a little bit of a time saving advice that it's all stripped off in public areas. Now, if you know some private property owners, go to town. They've got literally hundreds of tons of the stuff on private property. Okay, let's see. And if you do find rock in Texas and you say I'm full of crap, just try napping it. You'll see why it's still there. What are we tapping tonight? Flint River, Novaculite, Hornstone? No, it's still obsidian. Everything's obsidian right now. I'm in the obsidian mode because I've got tons of it. And I need to get better at it, especially when I'm going to be making those obsidian Cody points. And some of those, not Stockton. I get mixed up between Stockton and these other ones from the Great Basin that have regular flaking. I can see the name, but I can't. Whenever I think about it too hard, the name disappears. It's not Stockton. Stockton has all those serrations. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, tonight is obsidian. So is it better to stop napping when you start having diminishing results? Yeah, take a break. If you're getting diminishing results and it's because of a physical impairment, like you've injured yourself, take a break. If you haven't injured yourself and you're not mentally tired of napping, keep doing it because The longer the breaks, the more you forget. But if it's physical, definitely take a break because it'll get worse. Ross, Ohio and Indiana is a mecca of stone. At least slide through on your way to Texas. Ohio and Indiana. I never saw any stone in Indiana when I was there, so just fair warning on that. Ohio, I don't know. Let's see. Yep, same goes for gold. Have to go beyond where the normal lazy person will search. That's true. Yeah, you can still pan for gold in several places in the U.S. It'll start getting darker soon. Maybe that helps. Let's see. Look up LED lights for women putting on makeup. I have one of those ring lights, but I can't stick it here in front of me because the computer is right there. I have one of those ring lights, but it's not as bright as this thing that's right in my face. It's less than 16 inches away. That's the ring light is not going to be brighter than that. Let's see. Yeah, ring lights. I have a ring light. Yeah. You guys are going to turn him into Hollywood. Alan Cole made it. Is there any nappable rock where you are in Vermont? No, absolutely not. I wouldn't consider it nappable rock. There's vein quartz. The closest thing to anything nappable around here is vein quartz, and that's terrible. The next thing you can nap around here is argillite, which is even more terrible. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the best and 1 being barely nappable, vein quartz is a 0 and argillite is a -1. Okay, all right. But the Native Americans here used to make arrowheads out of that stuff. But I think they were just making arrowheads out of that stuff because they just needed a bunch of arrowheads, because otherwise there's no reason why you can't use bone or slate. The bone and slate make excellent arrowheads, and there's slate not far from here that's of good quality, and bone is everywhere. So no, there's no bushy, there's no rock here, but I know you've said you've got some Onondaga and stone where you are. I'm going to come visit you, but it's hard for me to travel right now. I've still got to move a bunch of stuff. I still have to do a lot of rearranging and moving and getting settled in. But yeah, I'll be visiting you. Besides, I'm a little bit wary of visiting you when you've got like 2 feet of snow. I don't want to get stuck. That's just an excuse, I know. Well, your variety in obsidian makes sure we aren't getting bored with obsidian. Cool. I'm glad you're not getting bored. Let's see. Indiana has chirp, but you got to dig for them. Less work than digging in Texas. All I'm saying. Okay. Patrick, do you ever try Onondaga? Yeah, I've tried Onondaga. It's got various grades. Some of it napped excellent that I've tried, and some of it was so broken up I couldn't get anything except maybe a 3/4 inch long little triangle. So it's mixed. Onondaga is also variable in color. Some of it has got some nice colors to it. It's all in the gray and black family of colors, but some of it is pretty slick looking. Jay Valentine, hey. What's the gayest material you've ever napped? That's a good question, because that glitter glass, it's a glass that looks like it has glitter in it. It's called something else, but that's I consider that an art glass. This is my first time trying live chat. It's so cool. All right, cool. Mike does. Well, that material would have to be flame obsidian. Yeah, that too. That's clever. I'm not that clever, but the glitter glass comes in like gold and blue and different colors. It naps okay. It naps like mahogany obsidian. which is very snap and happish. Mudstone. Mudstone is not good for napping, right? As far as I know. I've tried mudstone. Don't forget to smash the like button. Yeah. I heard of a church source somewhere in northern Maine, but it's rare and small chunks only. The only other source I could think of are ballast flint from the old ships and just New York Onondaga. Yeah, there's Pennsylvania, Jasper, if I want to travel even further. It's not actually that far in comparison to how far I've traveled before to go down to Pennsylvania and pick up chert in Jasper. But the closest thing to me is New York Church and Onondaga. There is on several maps sites in northern Maine where you can get chert. Now, actually getting up there and gaining access to it on public roads, like in road cuts and stuff, who knows if it's available there. Goldstone. Yes, that's what it's called, goldstone. That's the kind of glass that is, you know, not very manly, I suppose. Wait till the snow is gone. Like I said, have lots of land. Yes, I know. I'm drooling. We catch trout, shoot, no limits. Yeah, but what about you're in New York? I thought there was I see. We're going to keep the limits out of the picture and operate under the radar, so to speak. Right. San Fran Peaks Obsidian here in Arizona is the only a couple hours away. So crunchy, more failures than success. Yeah. That's the problem. I found a Clovis 1 mile away. Oh, damn, don't tell me that. Because I get jealous. Is there a wood hard enough to use as a billet, like stone, wood, etc.? Yeah, it just has to weigh more than water. Okay, if you got wood that you put in water and it sinks, you can use it as a billet. So keep that in mind. You might say, wait a second, there's no such thing. There is such thing. You just got to find it. If you can't find it, then don't use wood for billets. If you get a chance, it's worth a drive. Go check out the museum at Chimney Point. They have drawers and drawers of amazing artifacts made from absolute trash rock in Vermont. It's totally worth it. Okay, yeah. I need to do that. The thing is, someone tell me how to preserve the chat. When I go offline, I can't find the chat anymore, so I can't see the suggestions in the chat. Someone tell me how to find the chat once I end the live stream. Or do I have to hit a settings button or something to keep the live chat from disappearing? I want to be able to reference it after I go offline. Let's see. It's mind-blowing what the ancient people did with that stuff. I see. Jay helped me find my local material. Okay. Chimney Point. Okay, I'll check that out. I'll try to remember that. I can't remember. I got to write it down. Okay. Mind-blowing what ancient people did. Shout out to Jay. Crazy you showed up right when we started talking about chert outcrops. Yeah. I'm in the lithic dead zone too. All I have for my many miles around is Columbia Basin basalt. Yeah, my condolences. Yeah, just you in those situations, you just nap bottle bottom glass and floor tile. And then you can paint the floor tile any color you want. You didn't know you could paint the floor tile? You can. Been getting my rock from Jeff Head and Danny Collins. And you can buy rock too. Very good sources, Jeff Head and Danny Collins. Okay, very good sources. What would be your advice for someone who wants to start napping and does not know where to start? Okay, Big Blue, you're in Spain, just to clarify, right or no? Let me know, because the best place to start is to go to a nap-in. I have a list of nap-ins. I worked very hard getting that list put together. I haven't updated it in a few months, but if you remind me, I will update the list and try to find a Knapping near you. Okay. If you're in Spain, I don't know where the Knappings are, but uh, the reason why I say go to a Knapping is because you can just hang around. You can walk around, and then someone will say, "Come sit down," and then we'll start napping stuff. That's how you start. That's the best way. Uh, Otherwise, the best way to start is with a pressure flaker and some glass and leather pad or leather gloves or some kind of gloves for your hand, and then a book on arrowheads like the Overstreet Price Guide. You need four things: protection for yourself from the glass, if you're going to start with glass or with anything. But it's very important with glass that you have eye protection and a glove. And then you need the tool, like a pressure flaker. You can do almost anything with a pressure flaker. And then you'll need the glass. And then you'll need the book. So you can see what kind of arrowheads to make. And then you can make your own tools using nails, construction grade nails, pressure flakers and indirect percussion flakers. Let's see. Use an axe handle on the vacuolite before. Probably not the best, though. Yeah, it depends on what the axe handle is made from. Every time I use something that's not heavier than water, as far as wood goes, it splits, cracks, and does nothing. The chat sometimes erases right after the live is over. Yeah, sometimes. I think I need to set it so it doesn't erase at all. Because I've seen other live streams that have the option to show the chat, and they've already gone offline. Should be 2 dots on your comment section. You can flip to live chat. I mean, I can see it right now, but when I go offline, it disappears. I'll text you a pic of a Clovis soon. All right. Little Falls Church. Esopus Church as well is in New York. Okay, that's the other one. Not just Onondaga. Like you can't miss the museum. It's absolutely insane artifact. Small place, lots packed in. Sounds pretty good. I've successfully used big leaf maple to make wood billets. If you burn them and then scrape off the charred parts, the cooked wood underneath is a bit harder. Still not ideal, but it works. Well, that might work, but every time I've charred wood, it gets weaker, not stronger. The only exception, there's one exception, and that was hickory. Hickory got harder after I charred it. Every other wood I've tried, and I've tried lots of different kinds of wood, got worse when I charred it. Yes, I am in Spain. Yeah. So you need to make a trip to the Netherlands and to Norway for flint. It's not that far from you. I've looked already. And once you find the beaches that have the flint, then you'll have the material. And then you can use whatever you want for tools. But I would if you're in Spain, I would plan a trip to the Netherlands and to Norway. Where else have I seen it? There's areas around the Baltic Sea as well, or on the shores of the Baltic Sea that have flint. You've just got to do a lot of research into the parks and public areas and then drive a lot. But with an EU passport, you should be able to travel to any EU country easily. There's actually literally tons of beach chert in Northern Europe. I've got enough rock to make arrowheads for the rest of my life. Unfortunately, for me, I'm your opposite in knapping. I like doing big ceremonial blades versus the tiny ones. Yeah, you're going to have trouble with if you like big blades. Yeah, you're going to have to spend lots of money. There are people that have big material available. Now, have you ever seen guys that make big blades with segments? They make a blade first out of wood, and then they put segments in around the perimeter of the wood. That way you can have a large blade if that's what you want. Sam Fuchs, great to see you all. Really looking forward to seeing. Oops, I lost my place. I'm scrolling here and it scrolls too fast. I lost my place. Great to see you all. Really looking forward to seeing you build arrows with the stuff you collected. Very traditional work. Thanks. Yep, I will be building arrows with traditional materials and tools, traditional tools or Stone Age tools. Knappings in Arizona are zilch. One guy in Phoenix has a private shop. Knappings in Arizona. Yeah, I don't remember seeing one. Let me see. Where's my phone? Okay, hold on. I'm going to look to see. I've got the Knapping list in my notes. See, I got my phone separate from my video, so I can look. All right. Where is it? I archived it. Being smart. One more step. If I archive it, it's one more step to try to find it. Because it goes all the way to the bottom of my 1,000 entry list. I have over 1,000 items in my archive. I have to go to one of my videos. Hold on. I just want to make sure there's not a Arizona Knapping. So let me go to one of my videos, go into the comments section where I'm pretty sure there's a Knapping list. One of my older ones. I'm not sure if I put it into every one of my current ones. Knapping list by state, part 1. Yeah, Alabama is the first one, then Arkansas. And that's it for A's. Okay. Let's see. Arizona. What's close to Arizona? The closest one to you is going to be Kansas, I think. That's not that close. Yeah. So, yeah, you're right. You're in a desert. All right. Let's see. Where was I before I so crudely interrupted myself? Arizona. Yeah, Knappings in Arizona are zilch. Just start one by yourself. There's other nappers in Arizona. Yeah. If you got a place to nap, you can just get on Facebook and go, hey, anybody napping in Arizona? You can come over to my house. I got free Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid. It's a joke related to Kool-Aid. Yeah. I would never serve Kool-Aid at a Knapping. It's not the kind of people you get at Knappings. I just looked at your last live stream before this. The chat was saved. It's under the live section on your main channel page. Yeah. Your other videos are listed under videos. I don't know if that helps. Okay. So I have looked at my live section, and there's my live videos, but I open the video up and I can't see the chat. So either I'm blind or I need to get a 5th grader to show me how to do it. Seeing someone in person really helped me immensely. I didn't realize exactly how hard to swing. Yeah, it's very common. Until I saw it in first, especially indirect work for me personally. Yep. You've got to hit pretty hard and fast for indirect percussion the way I do it. It's not not everyone does it the same way, believe it or not. I just texted you a pic of my clothes. All right. New York also has Kettle Point chert from cobbles and glacial till. It's pale blue. He's talking to you, Bushy. All right. So let's see. Every time I try to scroll, it just goes like 10 comments down. I had to go backwards. Midbar, that's not true. I go for a few every winter. And there's a few nappers in around Quartzsite, Arizona. There is a camped there all winter. Has a large rock. All right, Jim Cooper, can you post the address if it's permissible where this place is in Arizona, Quartzsite, Arizona? It's a few nappers in and around. Or just email me. Send me a email to jackcrafty2@gmail.com, and I'll try to work out some details. I'll get permission to publish details on any nappings in or near Quartzsite, Arizona. Midbar, where in Phoenix? Jay, what county? Yeah. Start talking to each other here in the chat so you know where to meet and where to find stuff. Still hasn't proven he ever had. I haven't proven I have ever had a wife. Let's see. Well, indirect proof. There's my children in some of my videos, but you can just hear them. I didn't film my children. Okay. You can hear my children and stuff in the videos. That still doesn't prove I've had a wife. I know, but it's pretty close. It's indirect proof. Right in the Catskills. My wife says the abrading drives her crazy, but I told her Patrick says it sounds like music if you turn on the subtitles. Yeah. Yep. I was thinking about that too. Can I somehow make the abrading sound better? I guess I could just start using only the files. That way it can be more ASMR-ish. When I looked for napping supplies in Arizona, Ken Winton, his shop showed up. Really? I didn't know that. Jay, have you Norman Skill? I'm currently in the desert and there's rock everywhere. Wow. You must be in a desert where nobody hikes. Or maybe it reaches, Death Valley temperatures in the summertime. That no one wants to go there. Bodark wood is not heavier than water, but it can be used as a billet if you are, Ray. If you want to use Bodark as a billet, go ahead. But just fair warning, it'll split very easily. How do I know? I don't know. No one was my roommate in college except for my wife. I was married when I was in college. So you're lying. I caught you. Yes, I did. And yeah, it's not an accomplishment to catch someone lying. It's so common these days. That's a joke. I know that you're playing on me, but you got to think of better jokes. More about the test of skill being able to make a large blade as thin as possible, like Sweetwater Biface, at least for me. So it wouldn't be the same as a sword with a wood. Yeah. Well, if you want to chase the thin, large biface. Yeah. I'm trying to think of a good source for big rock. I pass it up a lot, but you need to talk to sellers at Knappings. They can get you big rocks. If you go to a Knapping, it's going to cost some money. There is still a lot of big rocks available because there's plenty of private property with big rocks. You just need to get contacts with people from private property and it make it worth their while too. You can chase these big blades, thin big blades, but you'll probably have to give them over to the property owner as a gift. If you're just looking for the skill of doing it, giving them the gifts of the blades themselves shouldn't be a big deal. Something says like nasty type wild. I can't know. Well, I don't know what that means. I lost my place again. Quartzsite, Arizona powwow. And Rock Show also features lots of nappers and Jim Cooper. Yeah, send me an email, Jim, and we'll try to get these nappings locked down. Danny Collins is really enjoying the live streams. Yeah. And remember, Danny Collins has lots of good rocks. And the best Currently, the best heat-treated uh, Keo cook of anybody that I know. All right? Double shameless. And it benefits everybody to talk about good sellers because we need you guys to be there when times get tough and there's no rocks and we just have to get some good stuff. Have to, or we'll die. All right. JJ. Course at Arizona and powwow. Yes. I've seen a couple of powwows that have nappers there, but they're usually doing a demonstration. I didn't know that you could join in and bring your stuff. So if there's demonstrations, that's fine. But if there's nap-ins where you can actually participate, that's even better. All right. Yeah, Mike Tufts is here. He's got lots of good stuff. He experiments with all sorts of different things, like different boppers and pads and everything. He does the stuff that I don't like to do. So, working together, we can get a lot of people supplied with stuff. We have shamelessly plugged Dan Collins many times. Yes, we have. Have you ever been to a nap-in in Tennessee? Yeah, of course. I used to go, well, I try to go as often as I can to the, uh, what they call a Tennessee Classic in Asheville, Tennessee, right? Asheville is north of Nashville. Asheville is north of Nashville, about 30 minutes. It's the bow hunters. I can't remember the name, but it's the Tennessee Classic. It's in May. And I've also been to another one, but it's in the same place. It's in Asheville, if I'm not mistaken. Twin Oaks Bow Hunters. I try to go as many times as possible to that nap-in. And it's part of their archery competition. It's not only a nap-in, it's the archery competition for the Twin Oaks Bow Hunters. And they have what they call a napping pit. So I've been there 4 or 5 times in Tennessee. Yeah. Tempted to turn my spare acre into a nap-in place, but still on a search for something in Arizona worth napping other than obsidian. In southern Arizona, I think there might be some chert. There is a message chat. Let's see. There's also BLM land in Arizona. I'm thinking, and then you can scour those areas. Maybe there's some chert in some of those areas. A braiding makes my wife want to kill me for sure. Yeah. Can't stand a braiding sounds. How concerned are you with ED? Not concerned. No. Why do you recommend instead of wood billets for striking? Why do you recommend UHNW instead of wood billets for striking? Because wood absorbs too much energy. Yeah, you do need shock absorption, but you need a springy shock absorption, not just a collapsible. Wood collapses under shock and doesn't spring back as well as the UHMW plastic. It needs to be springy. Wood tends to dent and stay dented. The high impact plastic will dent, but it doesn't stay that way. That subtle difference makes a big difference in the napping. It needs some bounce back. Let's see, do I have something on the stove? No. I have a bad habit of leaving something boiling on the stove. Well, let's see. I'm looking for the HW plastic. Cheers, Brennan. Are you leaving? Let's see. Yeah, it's too hot here near Death Valley at the moment. Yes. In this chat, we have projectile dysfunction. I'd like to be able to send you some really difficult obsidian to nap. It comes from Pomo Indian region in Lake County, California specifically. Just send me an email to jackcrafty2@gmail.com. Jackcrafty, the number 2, @gmail.com. And we'll arrange something. Do you have your address posted somewhere so that we can send you stuff? No, just send me an email. I don't have my address posted anywhere, and that's on purpose. It's just too easy for spammers to get hold of my address, and then I get a bunch of stupid mail advertising. Appreciate it, Patrick. I know where to get it. It's being able to afford it. I'm not new to the napping game. I've been 20 years, Jim Cooper. I think I reckon if you're that Jim Cooper, I recognize your name. Wow. I see. After 20 years, you still haven't learned that the little ones are more fun? I don't know. I just checked all of your previous live stream videos. All the comments are visible. It looks like you have the settings correct. The comment section. Okay, so at least the settings are correct, and I just need to fool with it to try to get to the comments. Okay. The comment section pops right up when I click on your previous live. Yeah, it doesn't pop up for me. It just comes up with the video and the current comments. Like after the live stream's over, that's the comments that I see. I don't see what usually pops up on the right side. It doesn't pop up for me. But I think I have something wrong with my settings, or I'm just not clicking the right button. 1/3 of the points found on my area of Michigan are Kettle Point chert. That's interesting. Let's see. Also, the more you talk in here, the more Patrick's channel will get. Yeah, the more we chat, the better. Do you remember the first time you napped mahogany obsidian? Yes, it was at the Tennessee nap-in. The Twin Oaks bow hunters nap in the napping pit. I picked up something that someone dropped, and I looked at. I said, "Hey, this is red obsidian. I've never seen red obsidian." I started napping it, and I went, "Okay, that's why they left it here." It takes a while to get used to it. It's an acquired taste, as they say. I'm looking at the time. We haven't even been an hour yet. No one mentioned the time. I'm just looking at it. My brain changes the channel and just says, "Time? Where time is it?" Do you remember the first time? Yes. Quartzsite Powwow has a website. Looks like they have rock for sale. Well, dang it. That's good. Anyone got experience with cedar as a bow? Been looking at junipers and cedars in my area. Just do it. Cedar and juniper are good. I've tried both. You've got to make sure, though, that the grain is perfect, or back it with sinew if it's not, or rawhide, or both. Or if you don't have sinew, I've also backed bows with thread and tight bond. Make sure it's poly cotton thread, because the cotton is what sticks. If you try just polyester by itself as a thread, the tight bond doesn't grab it, or the glue doesn't grab it as well. So use poly cotton thread and tight bond as a substitute for sinew and hide glue. And you can back juniper and cedar if you're one of those guys that likes to draw to a 34-inch draw. Okay, I've seen that before. If you're only drawing 18 inches, you can make a bow out of pine. Anyone that guys tempted to check the rocks at Burrow Creek here in Arizona? Jasper is very glassy. Interesting. You can make a bow out of pine? Yeah, as long as you're not one of these guys that has like these ape arms that draw 34 inches. Yeah. The shorter the draw length, the more bows you can make. Yeah. And the different materials. The shorter the draw length, the more options you have. Excellent vids, brother. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Wendy's slushy machine. I used to drink lots of slushies back in the day. I miss food. Not food. I miss junk food. I still drink regular food. I still drink regular safe drinks that have a little bit of flavor. And I try all kinds of stuff that hopefully is uh, doesn't have any carbohydrates, but they sneak in these artificial sweeteners, and I hate the effects of the artificial sweeteners. I'm sensitive to that, unfortunately. Oh, someone sent me. Who sent me Perot? I don't know what that is. It's a coffee substitute, yes, but what is Perot? I want to try it. It smells great. So let me know who sent it to me. I don't think I bought it for myself. If I did, I'm losing my mind. Groups of nappers congregate to spy and sell points and tools and materials from all over the world. So, while not an official nap-in, but they have problem letting people join the napping. They have no problem. Oh, okay. Cool. Uh, I'm tempted to click on your icons so I can look at your YouTube channels. Why? Because I want to see if you guys are napping, or if you're like a race car channel or a channel that's into growing apple trees or something like that. Because I've seen that before. There's good napping materials all over the Southwest Arizona. Church ag is fine. That's what I've thought. I've got a box of Arizona napping. I've got a box of Arizona stones that includes napping materials and some pipestone, I believe. Yeah, Jim Cooper knows what he's talking about. I didn't know. I didn't realize you were that Jim Cooper. Thanks, Jason. Petrified wood is my favorite so far. You like petrified wood? I guess I've just had bad luck with petrified wood. Hi, did you enjoy reading my explanation of the creation different types of napping materials? Yes, Phil. Yeah. Yes. He wrote a long response in the comment section to give us a history on, or a little bit of analysis on different napping materials. Yeah, it was interesting. I did read it. Yes, it's got like 6 parts. Hi. Okay. True there, Jim, but I'm a bit too attached to my petrified wood to break it. I snapped some mahogany in half last night. It was a shame. Yeah, but that's what it's supposed to do. Yeah, supposed to snap it in half. If you're not snapping it in half, you're not paying the dues like everybody else. You got to snap at least 1 out of 2 in half to pay your dues. Yeah, I'm kidding, but mahogany obsidian is snap in half-ish. Mahogany obsidian knives and tomahawks sell great at craft shows. Yeah, the color really attracts people. And it's not expensive to buy that stuff either from a rock seller. Do not heat treat red cedar bows. They'll blow up when you pull them back. Yes. And they'll also blow up if you leave them in the desert environment like I did. Yeah. The first few bows I made in West Texas, I just said, this wood, this juniper comes from here. I'm just leaving it out. Wow. Well, shouldn't be a problem. But the humidity in the desert gets down sometimes below 20%. And on those days, it really ruins the wood. So it never recovers from extremely low humidity. And woods like juniper, cedar, pine, any of the softwoods suffer greatly with both heat, fire, and low humidity. That's why the Native Americans used to back that stuff with sinew. Yeah, I can see myself now. Yeah, because the sun just went down behind the hill. No, it went behind a big cloud. Okay. Burrow Creek has great material, but it's quite a hike to get there. Okay. Yeah, I believe it. Uh, My draw is 29 inches. Yeah, see, anything over 18-inch draw, you're going to have trouble with the wood that you are using. Okay, so what did I say? 18 inches. Um, I'm trying to think of a cutoff. A lot of Native American arrows show that the draw on them is 22 inches max. I'm not saying all, but a lot of them, you'll you'll see the main shaft and then a wrap and then a foreshaft. The whole arrow might be 38 inches, but at 22 or 24 inches, somewhere in the 20s and the low 20s, there's a wrap. So you're not going to draw it past that wrap. And the foreshaft is going to stick way out the front on a lot of Native American bows. So if you want to make a Native American bow and your draw is more than, let's say, 22 inches or more than what most Native American arrows are drawn to, you're going to have issues. You're going to have problems. And you're not going to draw the Native American bow as the Native Americans used to pull them. Native Americans didn't pull back a lot on their bows for the most part. Okay, I'm talking in generalities. They would make special bows for long draws, like for warfare. There's two. They made different bows. One warrior hunter would have 3 or 4 bows for different occasions. Now, what did they make the long draw bows from? First of all, they increased the length of the bow, so it's not going to be short like most Native American bows that you see in museums. It's going to be a longer bow, and yes, they made long bows. And literally bows that look like long bows from Europe. They made those, okay, long, narrow, skinny, right, with gracefully tapering limbs for long draws. So that's what you'll need to make. Don't make these little teeny bows and expect to get a 29-inch draw from them. It's just a word of advice. You can do it, and I've seen people do it. But you know what? You know what? It's like I've seen people make very thin points with very narrow notches and extremely long points. But what does it require? Experience and time and lots of failures before you get to that point. Okay. I think we aren't allowed to say that name, or they appear. Well, okay. Wouldn't it be a skinwalker? I don't know what that is. Me too. 29 inches, yeah. 29.5. See, my draw is around 26. Yeah. And it can go down to 24 if I'm crouching. If I'm crouching behind a blind, a natural one, not one that I've built, but if I'm crouching, my draw is 24. If I'm just shooting, it's like 26. If I want to shoot a war bow, I can get back to 28 inches. So if you want to make a Native American bow and you have a long draw, you're going to have to make the bow bigger. And did they make bows bigger back in the day? Yes. We just normally see the small ones now because those are the ones that were collected during the times of warfare, where the bows were compact in most cases. You don't want a big old unwieldy bow when you're doing ambushing and hit and run and horse tactics and that kind of thing. Long bows are like artillery, long distance shooting. They're not. It's not for hit and run, although it can be done. But long bows are not for hit and run. They're for basically standoff artillery. Let's see. What year of your life would you repeat and why? And why you don't like rabbit poop to make resins? It doesn't make any sense to me to use rabbit poop. Makes no sense at all. If I want plant fiber, I can go to a plant and just crush the bark from a plant like dog bane or whatever. It's so easy to make clean plant fiber. When you get scat, it's got other stuff in it. It's got bacteria. It's got I hate to even think what it's got in it. what kind of diseases you might give yourself. It might have worms in it that you don't even know and you can't see. You might have eggs in it that have from parasites. And then if you're gonna work with the glue that has that in it, and then you put your fingers in your mouth and then spread the sinew around or wrap with sinew and then lick it or even put the sinew and chew it in your mouth. And after you've been handling glue with scat, what do you think's going to happen? Maybe you guys don't care. That's fine. I care about that kind of stuff. What year of your life would you repeat and why? Well, I wouldn't repeat any year of my life without added information. I wouldn't repeat anything unless I had more information for that year because it would probably go the same way as before. Now, what years did I have the most fun? Right? That would be probably the best option if I were to choose years. When did I have the most fun? Probably. Well, it's mixed. My worst years are also my best years. Like the worst years were high school years, but they were also my best years as far as fun goes. So it was torture and misery and lots of fun and excitement as well. My high school years would be, I kind of would like to repeat it, but I would like to know more than I did back then because it doesn't help when you don't have an advantage. You need some advice. I had no advice growing up. Basically, I had no advice at all except for very generous teachers and stuff that would take extra time. I'm in northwest corner of Arizona. Looks like Nevada has its nose. I keep losing my place. Nevada has its nose in our business, and I'm on the nose tip. Do you ever try those Kevlar gloves? Kevlar gloves? Yeah, they were. I did try the Kevlar gloves. I don't know what happened to them. I remember that they were fuzzy, right? What did I do with those? Or they became fuzzy. I think they became fuzzy, and I put them away, and now I can't find them. I think I know where they are. Okay, let me think here. I think they became fuzzy with the abrader. 40 people in the chat. Hey, really? Let's see. Kevlar gloves. It sounds like a really good idea. Yeah. I mean, I think they worked. I I apologize, but I don't know where they went. Now that I'm thinking about it. Gee, I thought that was Wendigos. 20% humidity in Tucson is called a deluge. That's not good. It gets down close to 10% humidity in Tucson. I didn't know that. Everybody knows you, Jay. What you've been doing? You've been making lots of videos or what? I have only nap glass so far. Love napping, but haven't bought any rocks yet. I have watched your videos for almost 4 years. Cool. Thanks. Thanks, Troy. Troy Broadway. If you like a little bit of obsidian, get a hold of me and I'll hook you up. Hey, there you go. Bill's being generous. He's got good rocks, by the way, so you'll like it. Our Snyder is in the house. Wow, thanks, Bill. I'll do that. Yeah. That I do on the draw length is new info to me. Thank you. That is helpful. I'm hoping to try it with duck hunting. Nice. I wish I could go duck hunting. Well, I can now, so I got no excuses. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Weren't the short bows used on horseback hunting? Yeah, but there's mixed accounts of hunting with horses. So you can hunt on a horse if you're after bison. And I'm pretty sure you can hunt on a horse if you're after any other type of a herd animal like sheep, pronghorn sheep, uh, stuff like that, right? I'm pretty sure that any herd animal can be hunted while you're on horseback. And yes, it's better to use a shorter bow on horseback. But if you look at a lot of the accounts from California and far west coast Indians, they would use blinds and wait and use short bows at very close distance, less than 15 feet in many cases. And you don't need a big long draw for a shot that's only 15 feet away. Uh, and you keep yourself hidden. The top of the bow sticks up above the blind, right? The less you have sticking up, you can't your bow, but still, if it's a long bow, you can can it 45 degrees or even horizontal. It's going to stick out past the blind, and the animal's going to see that right away. It's like a flag. Hey, I got a long bow here with a long draw. I'm gonna kill you. So you keep your bow short, so you won't be seen, or it helps. Here in Arizona, there are yucca leaves or Spanish dagger plants. A simple hammer will remove the outer layer, separate the fibers. Yeah, yucca fibers are good, but you can use sisal twine fibers as well. That is a yucca plant also. Some of us don't have access to yucca plants, right? Right. So you buy sisal twine and untwine it, and you can see the long fibers. Yeah, and then use them for anything. Here in Arizona, there are yucca leaves. Okay. I have stone. You may be interested. My best guess is that it's silicified magnetite because it sticks to a magnet but is glassy like obsidian. Have I seen that before? Well, I haven't tried. I haven't tried a magnet on any of the stones that I have. That might be good. A good experiment. That's interesting. I never heard of silicified magnetite. Let's see, no problem. I like helping friends, especially if you haven't tried some of the top shelf. Yeah. You get food poisoning from eating meat shot with doo-doo glue on your arrows. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would be afraid to get something nasty. You know how expensive it is to get rid of intestinal parasites? It's not fun. I mean, I've never had to go through that. Uh, one of my daughters, well, let's just say that one of my daughters had salmonella, and she was very little, and we didn't catch it for a while. And poor thing, she could tolerate lots of pain. And then one day she says, uh, Daddy, my stomach hurts." And then it was that we took her to the hospital, right? And they said, yeah, she's got an advanced case. So she must have had it for weeks. And it's extremely painful. I can imagine you'd get the same thing with food poisoning from messing with scat. You don't want that, especially if you end up transmitting it to your kids. You have your stuff, you have your glue, like a lump of glue with scat in it, and one of your kids seems to pick it up and go, "What's this, Dad?" "No, it's just glue." "Oh, okay." Puts it down and goes around wiping their eyes and eat something off the table with their fingers. They didn't wash their hands. I wouldn't want that on my conscience, let's say. Yes. Let's see. Dry white pine needles work in place of the doo-doo. Yes, just crush them in a powder. It's very easy to make your own uh, wood fibers or plant fibers. And I say make your own. You can just gather it so easily without having to look for some scat. Because scat is actually harder to find than the plant fiber that is in the scat. So it makes absolutely no sense other than being some sort of cultural weirdness. Hope it was okay. I shared my Instagram handle here. Oh, yeah, I think so. I noticed you glossed over it. If that's why, my apologies. No, I just, If I glossed over your Instagram handle, it's because I didn't see it. I often lose my place in the chat. I have to scan up and down because I you know I have to not scan up and down. When I try to advance the chat, it goes too fast, and then I have to go back and forth. So I lose track of stuff, and I'm not paying too much attention to different handles. I gotta fix this scrolling so it doesn't scroll 10 comments at a time. Keep up the great work, Pat. My creativity gets re-energized by watching and listening to the yapping. Good. Yeah. I'm always afraid that the yapping's gonna get like too cringy. I don't use gloves. Gotta say, tough like woodpecker lips. Gotta stay tough. Yeah. Well, if you like that kind of stuff, yeah. I just it interferes with my other stuff. Like if I want to draw something or I make a bowstring, if I got a cut on my thumb the other day, and I got to apply iodine, like 5 times a day to stop it from bugging me because I'm trying to use my hands for something else. It's just annoying. So I try not to cut myself. Let's see. No yucca for you. You left them when you moved north. Yeah. I just buy sisal twine. I mean, it's so cheap. I don't need yucca. Besides, I get an allergic reaction when I process my own yucca plants. Speaking of horseback, how about those Comanche? Yeah. I've read mixed accounts of Comanche too. I thought Comanche were tall warriors, but they weren't. They were small. Some of them used longish bows, and some of them used short bows while on horseback. I've read all kinds of accounts. Um, but yeah, they not only were experts at riding horses, they were experts in the horse business. Oh yes. Uh, they developed their own pinto type breeds and stuff. We used to call rabbit poots smart pills. I wouldn't call them smart pills because something might happen with people that are too gullible. Don't slice your hand up flaking obsidian and then use doo-doo. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Grandpa always said not to lick rocks here in Arizona. Only thing without thorns to wipe. Use rocks to wipe yourself? You must have a lot of flat stones out there. If not, it's going to be. I'm borderline manic, so you can talk all you like. Hey, Robbie. You just joined? Those without Yucca access may try looking up Joshua Needle. Maybe they will notice it on the roadside. Okay. Turkeys have amazing eyesight, hard to move without them seeing you, especially if you're not using a shotgun. Yeah. See, they can't see shotgun ammunition. Yeah. We have turkeys here, a lot of turkeys in Vermont. So I may try that. Yeah. Eventually, I'm going to try everything. I have not ever gone turkey hunting. And every time I get a chance, I'll get turkey feathers from a turkey hunter. Robbie says, yeah, sorry, I'm a little bit late. You're not late because I think I'm going to go another hour. Or I'm going to go till 4 Eastern. That's like 40 minutes. Joshua fibers are short. Spanish sword is better here. Okay. You know that you can also use cotton balls. You just snip. Take scissors and cut up cotton balls. If you're living in a literal concrete landscape, you're in a city, you got concrete, you don't have any nature around you, you can get natural materials from the store, cotton balls, but it has to say 100% cotton because otherwise you're going to get artificial fibers in there. You can get 100% cotton in both strings and cotton balls. Strings threads and twine, and you will you'll be able to make stuff that they could make back in the day as well. And yeah, Indians used to make thread out of cotton in the Southwest, believe it or not. Uh, where did I see it? There's a museum piece. I forget what Indian tribe made it, but it was woven cotton. It was big weave, right? It was just, but it was a quiver made of cotton that had been first made. First, the cotton was twisted into threads, and then they weaved it together. Just a simple weave, but then they also weaved in patterns. Okay, so it's a little more sophisticated than just a simple weave. But yeah, they used to twist and weave cotton items back in the old days, prehistory, before European contact. So don't think that cotton twine or cotton thread is not old for a Native American item. I've seen deer on top of a hay bale today, like a goat, maybe to get a better view. That's interesting. Yeah, maybe to get a better view or to escape something. They often fight each other. I don't know if you how many deer you've watched, but I've seen deer be bullies with each other. Mhm. Yeah, so I've got I've got some other things that I was going to talk about during the channel news. It's a little bit of talking smack, though. What like um, what do you think there? If I were to ask myself a question, I would ask, what types of ideas do you think have no merit or are nonsense? What ideas in the primitive, so-called primitive community are nonsense? What ideas are bad? I was going to do some commentary on that sort of thing. And one of those is the myths surrounding arrow grooves, the grooves in arrows on the shafts. What are some of the myths? The biggest myth is it keeps the arrow straight. Okay. I'm going to open it up because I know that opens up a Pandora's box of comments. So I believe that the arrow grooves do nothing for arrow straightness. Absolutely nothing. Did you have a teacher for flint knapping or did you kind of wing it? Well, I did have teachers on YouTube when I first started, right? Jim Wynn was my biggest inspiration when I first started napping. And when I look at my old videos, I practically imitate everything about his style of doing a video. My voice tone, my pace, my presentation, everything was Jim Wynn. Okay. And then I started watching other nappers. And I said to myself, I'm just going to watch everybody. So I watched everybody, subscribed to everybody. I still try to subscribe to every napper on YouTube, the ones that I like anyway. And then it takes a lot for me not to like you, so I've subscribed to many nappers. Anyway, the next guy that I really learned a lot from was Edbo23 or Jim Main. And then after that, I just started to go out on my own, go out on a limb, so to speak, with different techniques and trying all kinds of different tools and materials. And then that carried over into my style of napping. So I'll switch between different tool styles and napping styles as time goes on. But I tried almost everything in the beginning until I settled on my my personal style. Once you set yourself into a personal style, it becomes much easier. It changes the ball game. The next thing that changed the ball game for me was heat treating. That changed everything as far as stress on the material itself. Yeah. Those are two turning points. One, developing my own style. And number two, the second turning point was heat treat. The third turning point is becoming the regular flaking. Yeah. That's the next thing I need to learn is the regular flaking and the long flutes and, like the Cumberland stuff and that sort of thing. I am going to start making some jigs. I've already I've already contacted a couple people on advice on how to make jigs. You should end the myth that all natives made flawless artifacts. Yeah, I wish I could end that myself. I've tried to show as many artifacts as I possibly can on this channel. Just type in Jack Crafty artifacts, and you can see I display all kinds of stuff. And most of it, if not all of it, is wonky. All right? In case you didn't know. Talk more smack, dude. Yeah, I should. All right. So arrow grooves do not keep the arrow straight whatsoever. And I say that from an engineering point. If you want to keep something straight, you definitely do not remove material from it. You can change its shape, but it has to be a significant change in its shape. Okay. The grooves do not change the shaft in any significant way. All right. The other thing is overshots. For some reason, overshots are considered good or part of a technology. Maybe not good, but part of a suite of flakes, styles that constitute a certain technology. Okay? That's like saying dropping your tools in the mechanic shop is part of the technology. Yeah. How you drop your tools is part of the technology on how to be a mechanic. No, it's a mistake. You drop your tool, it's a mistake. You will do an overshot, it's a mistake. All right. Now, um, what else do I have here? Flake signatures do not exist. There is no such thing as a flake signature. If you are thinking that there is, you're watching someone who is grifting. Let's see. All stones with grooves are arrow shaft straighteners. No. Some of them are, yes, but not all. And I've seen even educated archaeologists will immediately say that's an arrow straightener, that rock with a groove in it. As long as it's smooth and it's similar to a diameter of an arrow or a foreshaft, that's a straightener. No, grooved stones were used for many different things, and least of all, I think, for straightening arrows. All right, let's see. Um, let's see. I think those are the topics that I know are going to ruffle some feathers and get the ball rolling here, so I could talk some more smack. All right, Jim Reed and Muddy Rooter are the best for my money, and now you, of course. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I used to watch Marty's videos, but then he makes everything too perfect, and it's not the way they used to do it. That's another thing. We have a decent amount here, high grade slate for making gorgets and ladle parts. Really cool stuff. Yeah. If you would want a little of that type of stuff as well. Slate? No, I have plenty of slate. 99% of artifacts are not flawless in about every video. Yeah, I do mention that. Overshots is a technology, not a mistake. Yeah, if you look at, I don't know how many of you guys read archaeological texts, but they consider the overshot as part of a technology. If it's prevalent among debitage, you know what debitage is, right? The waste flakes or the discharged flakes or whatever. Whatever. Even the flake scars, if it indicates there's an overshot, they think that's part of the technology. What is the technology? The technology is the thinning. There are many different flakes that come off the workpiece when you're trying to thin. There are short flakes, there are long flakes, there are overshot flakes, there are flakes that bite off the edge in the beginning. There are all kinds of different flakes that will shed light on, yeah, they were making thin points or they were doing the thinning technology. Okay, but there's a lot of mistakes in thinning, and some of them are very obvious. Overshots being one of them. That for some reason, the only I can't understand why they would say that's a part of the technology. It's like saying the step fracture is part of the technology when it starts getting thin, because step fractures happen a lot easier when it's getting thinner and flatter. To say that's part of the technology is just as ridiculous as saying that the overshot is part of the technology. Those are both mistakes. And in order to think that it's not a mistake, you have to be either politically minded or trying to grift somehow. Why politically minded? Because you join a bandwagon, you join a group, uh, and it makes you feel better, I suppose. I don't know. Let's see. Have I stirred the pot at all? And do I do that on purpose? Do I enjoy stirring the pot? Only when other people are going to enjoy the experience. I don't do it to be cruel or anything. I make I make turkey calls. I'm working on one to send me. Oh, okay. You're going to send me a turkey call? Awesome. I have a lot of ugly real artifacts. Good. They're not that ugly though, are they? Yeah. Even the ugliest artifact that I have is still cool. I talk a lot of smack about people who uh, they'll look at one of my pieces and they'll go, "You made that?" And then they'll look at an ugly artifact and they'll go, "Ooh, that's cool." But I do the same thing. I just talk smack about it. I still get armchair artifact experts shooting down real points because they aren't museum quality. Hmm. Yeah, gotta stay away from those. Arrow sander, I would believe. Yeah, but I've proven that you can. Well, I need to do more videos of this, but you can sand down an arrow shaft much better with a flat stone and sand sprinkled on the top of the flat stone, perfectly flat. And you can make a perfectly flat stone. It's easy. You just rub it against another flat stone. Eventually, both surfaces will get flat. I should show this, right? But anyway, you can sand down an arrow shaft much easier on a flat stone. Like compare it to a sanding block with a groove in it. Like let's say the sanding block is long. You put a groove in it the long way, or another sanding block with no groove, and then you try to sand down the arrow. Which one works better? Let's say you want to make 5 arrows. The one with the groove in it, or the one that's totally flat? It's the one that's totally flat. Why? Because the groove gets all gummed up. Same on a stone. Yeah. Okay. Um, in regards to flawless, is there a wrong way to start a fire if it ends with a fire? A wrong way to catch a fish if you catch a fish? Nope. The wrong way to do any of this stuff is if you get a slave to do it. I make a lot of ugly reproductions of artifacts. Really? Hmm. No, I would say the end result is what matters, whatever works for you. Yeah. Just make sure you don't have a slave doing it. By the way, I'm working on listening. Y'all have made me laugh. Yeah. I'm working and listening. Yeah, you better be only listening at work, because if you're distracted too much, someone's going to either tell on you or the boss is going to notice. At one point, they were thinking of installing. This is off the subject. Where I work, they were thinking of installing a key tracker so they can keep track of what keys you're entering. Yeah, they were going to do that at one of my jobs. They didn't. They ended up not doing it because of privacy reasons. There was going to be a lawsuit if they had done that. But you never know. They might have done it anyway and just not told anybody. By the way, I'm working and listening. Yeah. Lots of the older books I read speak of overshot technology a lot when talking about paleo. Yeah. It's a big, weird type of uh, grift. Let's see. Wow, I'm missing a lot of these comments. Uh, yeah, the older books. They're usually good until they start getting into the weirdness of overshot and other technologies like parallel flaking as a technology. It, it's a napper preference. The parallel flaking. It's not necessary to sharpen. It's just or to do anything thin, sharpen, or whatever on a point. It's a napper preference. The technology is the shape of the point and how it's hafted and what it's used for. Okay. And the various stages you start some points will start from spalls, some points will start from nodules, some points start from skinned off flakes from the near the cortex, some points start from uh caches. There's somebody making a cache of a bunch of bifaces, and then when you finish them, you get one of those. You don't start from a nodule. You always start your point from a previously napped preform or biface. Those are technological aspects. Okay. Um, let's see. Me too. At work, I'm trying to make calls and still listen. I see. Uh, if it cuts watermelon or tomatoes, you made a tool, right? Yeah. Yeah. Of course, you made a watermelon cutting tool. They had lots of those back in the day, right? Yeah. And tomatoes too. Them tomahawks were real busy doing that stuff. Your videos and discussions on the subject would have me on your side of the overshot debate. Would or do? Or you're still on the fence? I would agree if you make something that works, that it was a success. Yeah. I mean, uh, in general, the results are what matters for sure. I mean, that's the thing. I'm 100% part of the step fracture technology culture. I can't get away from. All righty. Well, that's one way to make your time worthwhile. Uh, you can justify all the time you spent making step fractures by saying that you are advancing the culture. Yeah. Saw photos with Levallois points, just flakes trimmed around the edges, some spiraled, and it's wonkyville. Yep. You ever use a spoke shave? Yes, but of stone, not much. Because the spoke shave has two handles. I don't find that useful for what I do. Now, I think it may be useful for other things besides making bows and arrows. Okay, you can use a spoke shave in other crafts like basket making, and I'm just trying to think here. Uh, gathering bark for ceremonies or smoking or whatever. I mean, there's other uses for spoke shaves other than bows and arrows. But yeah, I have used spoke shaves, but I don't use them for bows and arrows. What I use is mainly sanding tools and files. I don't like using scrapers or blades when I make a bow or an arrow. I use scrapers and files in sandpaper. The tools, the stone tools, are flakes, utilized flakes, and flat stones with sand sprinkled or some kind of rock dust sprinkled on them, and burnishers, but no blades. I don't use blades whenever I do any of my stone tool work in the way that blades are normally used to slice. I use blades for scraping. So I scrape, sand, and burnish. Uh, have you ever seen? Oops. Have you ever seen the Y branch swoosh fluting? Pinch the blade between the fork. Yes, I've seen that. There is a video, uh, very, a very clear video on how it's done. Yeah, and it's not one that Swoosh made. It's one that it's a guy that's using that technique. There's a piece of bone embedded that sits on the platform. Pretty easy. I tried it. It works. Okay, awesome. I haven't tried it. I've never used a jig except for the rocker punch. That's the only jig that I've used. So I'm gonna get into jigs. I'm gonna do the jig thing. I'm s- you know the napping jig. I'm pretty sure swoosh fluting is close to how they actually did it, but who knows? Yeah, we don't know exactly, of course. It's a very interesting technique because you can do it no matter where you are, right? If it's easy to accomplish as far as gathering the tools to do it, then it's probably something that was used in the past. If it requires an elaborate setup with multiple components, it's probably something they didn't do. My boss is always miles away. Well, that's good. My daughter has a boss that is totally miles away as well. uh, yeah. One of my daughters works from home. That's why I mentioned that. I tried to convince my boss when I was working that uh, to work from home, for me to work from home, but he wouldn't go for it at my last job. And my other jobs, I could have done it, but I didn't because I knew that I wasn't going to be productive. Uh, yeah, it depends on the kind of work. Yeah, it depends on the kind of work. Uh, See, on some of my job sites, I had to go to the field constantly. I can't work from home when I do that. To do measurements and site inspections and all that kind of stuff, equipment inspections. You can't work from home when you do that kind of work. Uh, I'm most interested in making points for deer hunting close range. Yeah, you just need some sharp points. It can be any size. For deer, deer rib cage is so easy to puncture. It's not even funny. The only thing you have to watch out for is the shoulder, the deer shoulder, because that's the heart is right behind the shoulder in most cases. You want to shoot the deer in the heart. You have to be very good. There are other places to shoot deer with an arrow that'll take it down quick, but the heart is the best. But you've got that shoulder, that deer shoulder right there. It's hard to uh, place a very good shot to avoid that. And you don't want to hit any bone other than ribs when you're shooting with a stone point. One of the widest blades I was making was going too good. Then I set up a platform too high and blew off an overshot flake on the other side. There goes my width. Yes. Not only that, but you got to redress the edge, and sometimes it's scooped out a lot. So then you got a dip in the middle or somewhere on your blade. It's just dipped, and it's a weak spot. Even if you fix it, you still got that dip. And it ends up being a weak spot. I have obsidian point on my fiberglass arrow, just waiting for a close deer. Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with using composite fiber arrows or fiberglass arrows. I don't take away any points for a stone pointed arrow being made of other materials other than wood and stuff. What other materials other than wood that the Native Americans use? Well, if you consider weeds to be wood, then nothing. But um, yeah, so there's an arrow weed, and I think it is actually classified as a weed uh, that can be used for arrows. And cane, um, is cane considered wood? I don't know. Anyways, let's see. Bow making, photo Joe. What did you use to haft it? Looking forward to seeing you do the arrow shafts. I got a bunch of dogwood shafts drying now. Ross, when do you plan on doing the series? I'm doing it soon because I've just harvested a bunch of. I just went and gathered a ton of shoots. So I need to go back out this Friday, to film some footage of what I do to look for and cut the shoots. And then once I have that footage, I got all the rest that I can do here at the house. I just need to shoot some footage out in the forest. So Friday is the soonest. Maybe this weekend I'll have at least part of that series set up. and put on video. I started tooling leather again. I found it relaxing. Made a belt. Awesome. I think Snap and Half is just my obsidian napping name. Yeah. River cane. Yeah. River cane, there's two different types, right? There's switch cane and what they call river cane. Yep. Or hill cane, right? Maybe there's three different. There's nicknames. It's the same stuff, but it grows slightly different. Uh, okay. I think it's all the same. But if you, let's say, the typical river cane is the lower grade. The hill cane is the higher grade. It seems like anything that grows at higher elevation, even river cane, improves the higher the elevation. Cane is grass. Yeah, same as bamboo. So I guess it's not considered a wood. My boss is probably on a ranch. I had to drive 400 miles away, so I'm not watching and driving at all. Why did they call blades Clovis? Why do they call blades Clovis? I don't know. I just looked it up. It was surprised to see grass. Interesting. Yeah. Found some awesome lightweight but very straight shafts in the driftwood piles at the river. Hmm. Not sure what they are. Would need a hardwood shaft for the point. Cool. Yeah. Just like stone, you don't need to know what it is to make an arrow out of it. The arrow shaft material, you don't need to know the name of it because it doesn't help you when you make it arrow shaft. Same with the point, a stone point. You don't need the name of the stone type doesn't help you in your napping. The name of the wood or grass or reed or whatever for the arrow shaft doesn't help you when you want to make the arrow. It just unless you're looking up some research on the properties, but who does that? Because everything is different. Natural materials are different. You can look up the properties of river cane, and what you've got that you think is river cane might not match at all the properties of of what's in the description of the river cane. I've had that happen so many times that I just stopped paying attention when it comes to particulars. The natural material has its own characteristics depending on uh, locality, health of the soil, elevation, locality as far as temperature ranges. I mean, it's just so many variables that all these materials are going to be different, even though they're called the same and they're genetically the same. What were gravers used for? Gravers were used mainly for scribing. You know what scribing is, right? When you scribe bone, let's say, we call it, as Europeans, we call it scrimshaw, right? Well, Native Americans didn't call it scrimshaw, but they used a graver for stuff like that. They can also use gravers when they are very sharp as tattooing implements. Some gravers are sharper than others. You can use a graver also for putting a groove into an arrow shaft, but it's difficult. It's easier just to use a pointed flake. I found out. But gravers are used mainly as scribers. Like if you take a piece of slate and you scribe in design, you use a graver for that. A bone or a piece of wood, you use or a piece of rawhide, you can scribe designs in it with a graver, and you can sharpen them up if it's not scribing like you want. The hardest for deer hunting is trying to film and hunt at the same time. It's almost impossible with solo. Yeah, yeah, you got to wear one of those GoPros or something on your head like everybody else. It gives you a weird sight picture. I don't like GoPros. I almost bought one, and until I started watching the videos on the GoPros, and I didn't like the way it shows detail. It distorts everything like you're looking through one of those uh, magnifying glass things. One of these. I don't know. It just makes me feel like I'm looking through a big magnifying glass. The hardest. Okay, river cane is either Phragmites or Arundo. Those are the genres. Okay. I think it's arundo. The river cane is actually a native North American bamboo, and it's not Phragmites. I think arundo or whatever is the bamboo. So river cane is bamboo. I use wild rose for arrow shafts. Collecting them can suck, but they work well. I have a lot of multifloral rose back here, and I've only found two suitable shafts. And it's so pithy that I said, "Oh, I don't know how these guys use it. It's got a huge pith. I can only use like the first 12 inches at the bottom where it grows. That's solid enough. The other part is very weak. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you guys use the arrow. I mean, the rose. But around here, it doesn't grow very well, I guess. It's very wimpy around here. Collecting them is not a big deal. You just got to chop through all the bad stuff. It just regrows so fast it doesn't matter how much you chop. Anyways, I use wild rose arrow shafts. Wild rose is common arrow material where I live in the Pacific Northwest. It has to grow better there than it does here because the ones we have here, no, they're wimpy. Do you plan on visiting Glass Buttes in the future? Yes. You being a bird watcher, what do you think of the kingfisher going on a photo shoot this morning or in morning behind where I live? I don't watch birds that much. Yeah, I'm I'm into birds because of their feathers. I know it's funny. I like to identify the feathers, not the bird. Mhm, mhm. So, I'm walking down the trail and I see a feather. What bird did this come from? I can't stand not knowing what bird this comes from. All right. And then I end up trying to memorize bird names. But that's the only reason why. Other than they're tasty, I don't have any interest in birds. False orange is another one commonly used in my area. Hmm. Troy, I left a small end of the point and knocked the arrow artificial sinew. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to stir the pot too by saying I hate artificial sinew. Oh, I can't stand it. Um, what's hard to keep straight? Arrows are hard to keep straight. Yes. You just have to have a very good arrow straightener. And where the feathers are, make sure that's the straightest part of the shaft from the very beginning. The shaftment, make sure that's the straightest part of your arrow shaft that you collect in the wild. If it's curved in the beginning, when you first gather that shaft in the shaftment area, you're going to have trouble later because it's so much of a pain to try to rebend the arrow straight where it has the feathers. You got to take the feathers off and heat it again and do all that stuff. So if you have a good arrow straightener that doesn't dimple the arrow, I don't know if that makes sense, or you can use your thumbs. As long as it's not too wonky, keeping them straight is not that bad. There are certain woods that respond to cold straightening better than others. So if you have an easy to cold straighten type of wood, it's better because then you don't have to heat the arrow later on down the line to straighten it out. Let's see. Uh, my points are 1 inch wide and no barb here in New York. Okay, good to know. Just learned that styrofoam and gasoline makes weatherproof glue, so I have a use for my old stuff. I don't know, man. I would stay away from those fumes. That doesn't sound very healthy at all. Make sure you don't inhale any of those fumes. Yeah, I asked that because I watched a video where I found a bunch of blades, I guess, from a blade core, and they call that a Clovis cache. Yeah, Clovis peoples use a lot of what they call blades struck off a core, but a lot of those blades are also incidental or part of the reduction process of the bifaces. So you might have a bunch of blades, but they may have not come off one core. They may have come off several different bifaces. They just happen to be that shape. Okay, so just keep that in mind too. I know people are not going to like that. They're going to say, no, there's Clovis cores where it's conical and they took off lots of blades all around it. Yeah, there is, but there's also incidental blades that are just flakes that have that shape when you remove them from a biface. But they collect them together because they use them. They're called utilized flakes. They like that shape. They use them for some reason. Uh, let's see. I sent you the scientific name of the bamboo that I found. It's also known as breaking something. Make sure and thumbs up the live feed and subscribe to the channel. Yes. Am I over? Almost over. We got 5 minutes. I understand about the feather. Thanks. Awesome. Did you ever give Boards of Canada a listen? Yeah. Boards of Canada is weird. I hate to say it, but it's too modern for me. I thought it was going to be the fuzzy kind of stoner rock. I like a lot of fuzz in my stoner rock. Not a lot of what seems to be I don't know, what do they call the synthesized music? Uh, if it makes you upset, I apologize, but I'm very particular about what I listen to. Let's try that comment again. Multiflora rose in your garden isn't as good as a wild rose I collect in the timber. I see. I'm not sure what the difference is. Yeah, well, I guess the multifloral rose is pretty bad. Yeah, because that's all we have here, and I can never find a good shaft. So yeah, if you have the kind of rose that is good, then that's awesome. Someone did send me a batch of rose shoots, and they're amazingly consistent. Like they're almost parallel shafts. Almost. I film my hunts with my Galaxy phone. We have a DIY camera arm and a holder for hunting from saddle or blind. Definitely as far as more efficient when you take shots at 15 yards or less. Good info, Troy. I should also warn you, Patrick, that duck hunting is more expensive than a cocaine. Well, I wouldn't know. Hopefully it's not too expensive. I was also curious of any thoughts using Osage orange and arrow shaft. Yeah, I've used Osage as arrow shaft. It's one of the best materials for arrow shaft. Yeah, it holds its shape better than any other wood I've tried. Okay, Osage orange Osage orange arrow shafts are awesome. Okay, yep, they're heavy, but they're awesome. Of course, heavy is good. Somebody's stirring the pot. Sal, you're stirring the pot? Oh, did I miss your comment? The natives here up in the Grand Canyon have duck decoys that are 3,400 years old. This place is very different back then. Yeah, lots more water probably. If you like fuzzy stoner rock, check out this Space Lords and Electric Moon. Okay, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, I'm trying to think of another one I've listened to before. Electric Wizard. Is that one? Is that a band? Did you check out Hawkwind? Very heavy. No, I didn't check out Hawkwind. Hello, Jack. My first live. You just got here. I was going to sign off. We've only got like 2 minutes left. But anyway, I'll stick around a little bit longer. What else do you want to nap later? What else do I want to nap? I have a lot of slabs that a friend of mine gave me. I'm going to be napping a lot of slabs. So after I finish the obsidian, I'm going to be napping some chert. And then after that, I'll probably end up napping a bunch of slabs. So yeah, welcome, Senku. Hi, it's me, Senku. Yes. You know that 70s show, Fuzzy Rock or Shag Carpet, whatever? Oh, okay. See you later, Jay. Oh no, bye, Jay. Bushy's leaving. Okay, we'll see you later. Hawkwind is good old stuff. A lot of the stuff that I get from Jeff Head, uh, Flint River Church, it's mainly yellow. What's an obscure napping material you want to get again or always wanted to nap? Obscure napping material that I've always wanted to nap. I want to nap good quality petrified wood, preferably a lighter color. The lighter colors of petrified wood, not the darker colors, of good quality and stuff I can heat treat. I want to find some good petrified wood. That's what I want to try to nap. That's the final frontier, because I know there's a bunch of beautiful petrified wood, but every time I get my hands on some, it's all layered and cruddy. I mean, as far as trying to get something consistently napped, with nice clean flakes. I'm pleased to switch to Sherwood shafts. I don't know what that is. That a brand name, Sherwood? Slabs. Yeah, square edges all around. Yes. Yeah, but I'm looking at a bunch of slabs now that I've placed all together. I'm saying to myself, I gotta eventually nap those. I'm trying to gather all my slabs together, and it's getting to be a pretty good pile. I have a nice piece of petrified wood begging to be napped, but it's so pretty. Yeah, don't ruin it until you know you can do it. Been fun, Patrick. See you later. See you Friday. Yeah, I'll see you Friday. Yeah, I'm gonna stop the live stream here pretty soon. Petrified wood is pretty, but I think it's super hard to nap. I've never napped any. Yeah, kind of like quartz, I think. Well, it can be. Yeah, but a lot of petrified wood has the internal defects and layers. Yeah, so that's why I want to try to get some good quality petrified wood. All right, that's it for the chat. Yep, we've been on here 2 hours and 7 minutes. I'll see you Friday at 8 p.m. All righty, take care, guys. That's it.